What? What the f happened to these? Seriously though, what happened to these? The last time I saw them, they were on Steve's feet. He was wearing them for a while. Then he passed them down to Miguel. He wore them for a bit. Eventually, he passed them down to Luis to finish dirtying them up. This is where we're at now. Honestly, they're extremely dirty inside and out. Off the rip, I know the materials on this sneaker is gonna bleed. Just by looking at the white laces underneath the grime, I see a lot of pink. That's an indication that this shoe will bleed when I clean up the sneaker. Now the mission today is to show you guys how to properly clean up the sneaker if it ever gets to this point. I've never cleaned up this shoe, so we're both gonna learn together. The main thing I wanna do is get these shoes looking as brand new as possible using our Reshoevn8r products without causing too much bleeding. So without further ado, let's get it started. To get this cleaning done right, we're gonna be using our Reshoevn8r Essential Shoe Cleaning Kit that comes with all 3 brushes, soft, medium, and stiff, 4-ounce bottle solution, and a microfiber towel. This is a shoe that I would never put in the washing machine for a couple different reasons. There's a couple of delicate materials on the uppers, mainly the red suede. If I was to put it in the washing machine, a couple of things can happen. It'll cause a lot of bleeding to the point where it's gonna be super faded once it's all dried, or the new bug's gonna get super saturated to the point that it'll never go back to its soft, buttery texture. So keep that in mind if you guys are ever working on these shoes. The only time I would put these shoes in the washing machine is if they were extremely beat, worn for so many years with a nasty odor. At that point, you kind of have to put them in the washing machine. To get things started, I'm gonna put the right shoe to the side and focus only on the left. I'm gonna take out the lace and insole to clean those up separately. Jesus. Covered in dirt. All right, Miguel and Steve did a good job wearing the sneaker. However, Luis put it over the top by covering in grime, dirt, mud, basically all of the above. Before I get my station ready to clean up the sneaker using our brushes and solution, one thing's gotta happen. I gotta go next door and use the compressor. On this specific sneaker, you gotta do a couple different things. Compressor and use a dry brush. I'm gonna start out with the compressor just because I don't wanna grab a soft bristle brush and potentially push that grime deeper into the red suede. The compressor should come first to blow off as much grime as possible. Now I understand not everybody at home has access to a compressor, but it's one of those things that I highly recommend using. You can even use canned air. Let's go next door. All right, so the compressor made a world of a difference. A lot of the grime completely blew off. You can see a lot of the red now. To finish the job, I'm gonna use a soft bristle brush to continue to break down some of those marks on the red suede. Once you're done dry brushing the shoe, you gotta make sure your soft bristle brush is all cleaned up before you go back and clean up the shoe with the same brush. Overall, the shoe looks a lot cleaner. You can actually see the red all around the sneaker. The compressor removed a lot of the grime and dirt off the sneaker, but there's still some marks all around the red suede. The soles and midsoles, same thing with the plastic rubber areas on the uppers, are still covered in grime. To get this fully off, we gotta use our solution and brushes. I'm gonna insert our shoe tree, make sure it's correctly sized. This is gonna help us with a couple different things. It'll remove the creasing once the shoe is fully dried and clean, and it's gonna allow me to apply pressure on the toe box as I clean. Now, when it comes to these type of shoes that has delicate materials, I always like to start with the bottom and work my way up. The soles are covered in grime, they're still pretty dirty. I'm gonna start off by using our stiff bristle brush, but first, let me grab our 4-ounce bottle of solution, squirt 2 squirts inside our bowl of water. Now, throughout this step, as I use a stiff bristle brush, I'm gonna make sure I get all the grime fully off. As I clean up the sole with a stiff bristle brush, the one thing I do wanna avoid is letting any water or solution drip onto the uppers. Out of the 3 brushes, the stiff bristle brush is my go-to when it comes to the soles. It's the only one I use. To get the best results, I brush in different directions to make sure I get all the grime fully out of the crevices. Outsoles are looking brand new. The only reason I said not to let any of the water drip onto the uppers is because that water is grimy and dirty. You don't want to make the uppers worse during the process. Next brush I'm going to be using is the medium bristle. The only part I'm going to be brushing is the midsole to get it back to its original color. Midsoles look great, back to its original color. As I'm brushing, I started taking care of the toe caps. My first concern was that the red would bleed onto the white embroidery swoosh. However, this material is totally safe. It's a rubber-like texture that doesn't bleed. The midsole is really easy to clean. The one thing you do want to focus on is the air unit. Inside the air unit, a lot of dirt gets trapped inside. Take your time with the microfiber towel and the brush to get it all out. So far, so good. While I got the medium bristle brush in my hand, let's take care of the insole. When it comes to the insole, it's by far one of the easiest things to clean when it comes to a shoe. You want to make sure you clean this part up every single time. A lot of feet sweat ends up in the insole. Best way to clean it up is by giving it a good scrub before you put it in the wash. Done with the medium bristle brush, now on to my favorite product, Reshoevn8r wipes. To make this cleaning a lot easier when it comes to using the soft bristle brush on the uppers, I'm gonna use the wipe to wipe down all the plastic hardware, such as the eyelets, the wings, and the back tab. As I was brushing the midsole with the medium bristle brush, I didn't go all the way up just because I didn't want to brush the uppers. As you can see, all around the edge of the midsole, there's still some grime left. Using the Reshoevn8r wipe, I'm gonna remove all that grime.
Bro, don't mess these up.
Chill, bro, I'm not you. Is there a reason why you're interrupting my video?
Yeah, what do you got for sneaker of the year?
Sneaker of the year might be these, bro. I missed out on them. Resale's gotten up. It's a sick ass shoe. Probably this one. It's hard to say though. We're halfway. Probably undefeated though, if you ask me at the end of the year. The sneaker's looking really good so far. Outsole, midsole, the plastic hardware on the uppers, all the dry brushing is completely done. Basically, the only area I gotta take care of still is the red suede, which is by far the hardest material on the sneaker. As soon as I start brushing the shoe with a soft bristle brush, water, and solution, you're gonna see red suds all around. The key to minimizing the bleeding on the sneaker is just to give it a quick pass over. You don't wanna spend too much time on the suede and cause oversaturation. That'll cause bleeding, and once the shoe's all dry, this buttery soft texture is gonna be really rough. So once I start with the soft bristle brush, I'm gonna hit the entire shoe, a quick pass over in a circular motion. Got my fresh water and a fresh towel. Let's do this. During the cleaning process using the soft bristle brush, I did not oversaturate the suede so it's not super wet. As you can see, it's drying in real time. To finish it off, I'm gonna go over it with a medium bristle brush that's dry, just to keep the suede buttery soft. Now overall, the shoe's pretty dry, but there's still some areas that feel pretty wet. I'm gonna put the shoe outside to dry for the next 20 minutes. While the shoe is drying, let's take care of the shoelace. The insole is good to go, but at the moment, the lace is extremely dirty. I'm gonna use the leftover water and solution, put it inside, start breaking down all the grime and dirt trapped inside the lace. All right, real quick, to give the shoelace a deeper clean, I'm gonna use a soft bristle brush, give it a good scrub. Shoelace is good to go. Same thing with the insole. I want to give these two parts a good deep clean, so I'm going to put them in the washing machine inside our sneaker laundry bag. The Essential Shoe Cleaning Kit does not come with this, but you can buy this separately on Reshoevn8r.com, or it comes with our signature kit. Shoes all dry, only took about 20 minutes thanks to the Arizona sun and the compressor. The shoelace and the insole are fully cleaned up. As you can see with the shoelace, all the grime and dye fully washed off. As far as the rest of the upper goes, Anytime I clean up a suede shoe, I always have to go back with the brass bristle or medium bristle brush to reset the nap on the suede. It always loses its soft texture. However, in this case, since I did a good job of not oversaturating the sneaker during the cleaning process, I dried it right away and I brushed it also. The soft texture is still there. It's not rough at all. However, just in case I missed any spots, I'm gonna go back over the entire suede one more time using the medium bristle brush. Keep in mind, it's gotta be dry. Suede is back to its soft texture. As you can see, buttery smooth. Now before I lace this shoe up, there's still a couple things I gotta do. The sock liner is covered in lint. I'm gonna grab a couple lint shavers and take care of that now. The small details matter every time. Much better. The last thing I gotta do, and this step is very important, anytime you clean up a suede shoe, especially a red one like this, it loses color. No matter what you do, it's inevitable. That's something that happens with dyed suede. To bring it back to its original tone, it's really easy. I'm gonna be using our Reshoevn8r Mink oil and our Horsehair brush. Simply what I'm gonna do is spray a quick coat onto the brush, brush it into the shoe. I'm gonna do this a couple of times until it's back to its original vibrant color. Alright guys, that's gonna bring us to an end on this full cleaning on the Brick by Brick Air Jordan 4s by Nigel Sylvester. I'm not gonna lie, before I started this cleaning, I really thought the shoe was gonna bleed like crazy, but the key to this specific cleaning was the prep work. Like I always say, prep work is the most important thing when it comes to a restoration, custom, and even a cleaning. For this one, I took my time with the compressor and the dry brushing. Doing those two steps really made the actual cleaning using our Reshoevn8r products a lot easier. Again, I know a compressor is a luxury item, but for this specific shoe, it really made a big difference. I'm sure at the end of the day, I could have done this cleaning without the compressor. Could have probably just used some canned air or just stick to the dry brushing. But the air compressor makes a big difference. If you're doing these cleanings at home constantly, I highly recommend investing in one of those. They're not that expensive. Besides the compressor, the star of the show was our Essential Shoe Cleaning Kit. Without all three brushes, soft, medium, and stiff, and our 4-ounce bottle solution, this cleaning would have not been possible. And of course, my favorite product really came in clutch, our Reshoevn8r wipes. You can find all the stuff I used in this video at Reshoevn8r.com. Use promo code BRICKBYBRICK to save 20%. This is Vick Almighty. I'll catch you guys on Monday. See you guys.